akuja kwa wale wenye tutaambiwa we mzee na tusikasirike, akuja join. All right, so let's go to analysis. Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate. I hope you guys, you've been doing your cases. But then you guys tell me, from where you come from, if a wasp gets into your house, what do you believe is going on? If a wasp comes into your room, into your house, what's the what's the local belief from where you're coming from?
Feel it immediately.
Why?
Peace must prevail.
Aish. Hey, all right. You've never heard of a wasp going into someone's room? Nothing, itakuma tu. I wonder why people from my local homestead are not saying at oh, it's a visitor. Nyenye mnaweza ua wasp? Can you kill a wasp? Do you know what a wasp is? And maybe hata fan mwenye anasema si unaua tu, hata labda hawezi iangalia. What is Pinot Ridge? I am old, kindly favor me. Hey, Belinda and Justin, nichanueni jamani. Oh, he's speaking low. He's saying what? Oh, hauna slippers uichape? Ai we. For some it's a visitor, but for some praying mantis is a sign for a visitor. Okay. Oh, Pinot ni wasp, alright. Oh, praying mantis ndo visit. Praying mantis. Imagine ukiona praying mantis kwa nyumba. Imagine seeing a praying mantis in the house. Either you vacate or it vacates. Alright. Alright. Huh. I'll just be looking at my new roommate for the afternoon. If you hear a scream, kindly know that it is not me. I am a strong, independent woman. Do you prefer a wasp killer? Kwani mnakula hadi wasp? Mi nashangaa watu wanajichapa na slippers. Mnakula hadi wasp? We. Small snack where? If you hear a scream, yes, Leonard, you know it's the wasp that is screaming. Anyway, before it comes my way, let us proceed to analysis. All right. So now, guys, let me tell you. You see this special group of people who are very good detectives, eh? Like the gender of someone who was calling for Sandra. These people who are good detectives, they will go assess if there is a threat, is there a vulnerability. If they find, then they do something we call analysis, right? They will analyze every single situation. every single thing that comes their way. Now, imagine a scenario where um, two people are dating. Hey, two people are dating. Let me know. Okay, let's just say two people are dating. And mi leo nimeokoka, sitaji majina. I am not mentioning names. I do not want to be the enemy of the people. So the guy goes to the ladies. No, no, no. The guy goes to the lady's phone. Today it's that gender. The guy goes to that lady's to that lady's phone, eh? And sees people of his kind flocking into her DMs, calling her all manner of sweet names from Nuki. But then he wonders, is he alone? He now starts to analyze the relationship. Analyzing, oh, shows, oh, once vimeenda kidogo kidogo tu. Imeenda, nilikuwa nafunga dirisha. Unajua my home is so conducive. It might bring its kins. Siyuko sure. So now, this gender notices its people from his type are flocking into the ladies' DMs. He now starts analyzing from, oh, he says like this. Kumbe, she says like this. Kumbe ni mahali ameambiwa. Hey, Gideon, si ukuwe musician basi. You're a good poet. So he starts analyzing his relationship. Eh? Asking questions here, answering himself there, analyzing ABC, and let's now see the type of services they can use. Now we know, at least we know what Chelsea can use in the house to know whether there was a perpetrator coming into her house. And we've seen that she can use CloudTrail to know who the perpetrator is, and she can use config to know what exactly he did, right? And what he changed. Now, for this other gender, they want to analyze and see if these other people in the DMs are a cause to maybe the issues these people are having in their relationship and all. So now let's see, in AWS, what do we do? What is analysis? What is analysis? Now, let me get my notes. Nanyi watu mnapenda moshene sana. The way mmevuruta viti. Love listening to stories za jaba sana. You've pushed your chairs so much faster with a thermos of tea waiting to be served. Hey, my people. Huh? Imeisha, tuone. Habakuk. Mi nilisema mi msinichekele. Mimi nimezeeka. I have white hair. Sawa tu Habakuk. It's okay. Yaani mpitangwi, mnangojea hapo kusikiza nikisema. I'll buy for all of you bananas. You won't believe. Hata wahenga hawataamini. All right. So, Elfas, acha ninyamaze kidogo. Najua mtu ndio anajijua mahali ametoka, mahali amefika, miaka ni mingapi. We are the ones who know how old we are. Don't be lied. Right? So let's see, what is analysis? What is analysis? Analysis is the final phase of security life cycle, where organizations reflect on past security incidents. So like this guy, this person wants to check Sandra's phone and see these threats, these vulnerabilities, where are they coming from? To uncover the root cause, assess vulnerabilities, and see maybe he's the one who's not buying enough flowers, or if he buys the flowers zinaleta nyuki kwa nyumba. So should he change to start bringing unga wa sima, because people like Brian Wakale could be having kisiagi hapo nyuma ya nyumba and wamejaa DMs. So wacheni kunichekesha, I'm trying to be serious. I keep trying to be serious and you feel you're laughing. All right, so maybe Brian over there has a kisiagi and he's bringing ugali, unga. And now Musembi is wondering, ai, maua ya Ukambani. Anashangaa maua ya Ukambani inaleta nyuki. Jamini. Ati nini Rich, sijakuelewa. Sijakuelewa Rich. You continue loving the examples, lakini mshike story nawambia. So now, these people, there's Brian who's bringing unga ya sima. There's Alex kisiagi. Sini kisiagi. Nyuma ya nyumba. Kisiagi kwani mnaita aje? Si ndio ni kisiagi. Haya. Alex naye pale nyuma. Tinga. Ai. Tinga is tractor, you purity. Sasa tinga mtaita aje tractor? Inaitwa kisiagi. Tinga. Nyinyi hapana. Kisiagi. Kwani unaitanga aje nyiwashu? Na sio tinga. Tinga is tractor. So, there's Alex over there. Kisiagi wambie. So, Alex over here, na yeye ako kwa Sandra anamwambia, as me I have a whole acre of potatoes in Nyandarua. Haya. Naye Musembi ameng'ang'ana hapo na maua. Maua hata haiji na nyuki, at least na asali. So now, Musembi is trying to assess. These vulnerabilities. Could it be that my flowers are so useless? So what he does is he wants to know how to strengthen his defenses. The way people you coming mnaingililia nyumba ya Musembi na Sandra. Nyuma ya nyumba hapa nyuma, like behind the house kwa shop or something. Haya. So now Musembi has uncovered the root cause. He's bringing useless flowers to Sandra. Sandra wants unga wa sima. Alex amesema he's coming. So we have Alex, or let me say Tony. Yes, Tony is having a whole acre in Nyandarua of potatoes and cabbage and mawaru. Aya. So now Sandra is wondering, these people at least they're bringing tangible things. Musembi, hata maua ikuji na nyuki. So after he's assessed his vulnerabilities, he now needs to know how to strengthen his defenses. Now, what is the purpose of the analysis phase? Number one, to identify weaknesses. Flowers, Sandra amesema is not interested in flowers. She wants tangible things that will not need pampering and all that. Something that she can cook, eat, and, grow some areas of her body. Another thing, understand the cause of the breaches or incidents. Musembi tafadhali hapana. No, let come to class, my people. Then evaluate impact on systems, data, and people. And finally, to develop and prevent future occurrences. All right. So there's some few questions that you ask yourself during analysis. Number one, how many security breaches occurred? How many are these people in her DMs, right? How many security breaches occurred? Then, how did each breach happen? What breach was the breach accidental or intentional? How many individuals or systems are affected? What can be done to prevent similar incidences? Now, let's see the general guidelines of the analysis phase. The analysis phase is not just about reacting to breaches. It's about proactively strengthening your security posture by learning from threats, testing solutions, balancing protection with performance. And we have key principles that guide us during analysis. Number one, you learn from every threat. Ensure that even if no breach has occurred, treat each threat as an opportunity to improve security controls. Another thing that is a key principle is you stay flexible by by being open to adding and adjusting or measures based on evolving risks and business needs. Another thing is use a test environment to simulate tasks, test solutions in a separate environment that mirrors production setup. Now, a piece of advice to Musembi, kindly do not test your lady. If you test her, she can go with the tester. Then we have balance protection and performance. Every security measure may introduce trade-offs like slower performance or higher cost. So you aim for balanced protection that fits your business priority. Right. Types of security tests that you can take. Where Justin, where Justin, tafadhali mtu alete Justin huku kwa darasa. Tuko kwa analysis. Now, we have types of security tests that you can run. We have external vulnerability assessment, external pen testing, and internal review of applications and platforms. So for external vulnerability, msikunywe uji basi kama mnakuja darasa yangu. External vulnerability assessment, a third party evaluates your vulnerabilities with little knowledge of infrastructure components. So this is where for external vulnerabilities, for example, like us landing here, we can call Karen. Someone called my boss Wendy. Asikuje nyinyi watu. Who called Wendy? Musembi, was it you? So let's say we invite Karen again to come and assess our environment now as an external person. Do you guys remember Karen? Do you guys remember Karen? You already forgot her. Yes. So we call Karen and we tell her, Karen, come to our class and carry out an external vulnerability assessment because she doesn't know any of us. She doesn't know how we're doing our work. She can come and test our infrastructure and components. And then we can have external pen testing. So a third party with little knowledge of the system actively tries to break into the system in a controlled manner. So now we can even tell Karen, now carry out a pen test to see among these men here, who is more vulnerable to being dusted. All right. So she can carry out a pen test and see, and atatuambia Musembi ako more vulnerable to being dusted than Ridge. Our New Testament person over here is more of hard-hearted. He cannot be pen tested. We Musembi, wewe unaita aje bosi wa watu hivyo? We wacha bosi akae na hapo nje kidogo tumalize shule, ama hutaki tulipwe mshahara? Right, then we can have internal review applications. So a tester with some or full knowledge of the system validates effectiveness of the following non-susceptibilities, controls in place, and application platforms. So an example of internal review, we call Esther, who is always with us in the classes. We tell Esther, come and review our peoples over here. Come and review our applications and platforms. Come and review these people's hearts here. Who is more lucky? Who is more prone to being dusted and ghosted? And of course, her answer will be Musembi. So now let's go to root cause analysis. All right, so what is a root cause analysis? It's a systematic method used to identify the origin of so a root cause analysis is a systematic method used to identify the origin of a security breach or an issue. It helps answer the question of how did this breach happen? All right. So a root cause analysis, it's typically performed after a security incident or a network attack, and also it's done during pen testing to uncover vulnerabilities. Now, my people who love DevSecOps and security, cybersecurity, I know you're so happy with this lesson. Haya, so the steps to conduct a root cause analysis is to, number one, describe the issue. So what happened? Where did it occur? What are the consequences? For example, Musembi wants to carry out a root cause analysis on what's going on with his mambo ya nyumba. So he'll ask himself what happened. These people, where did they come from? Where did it occur? What were the consequences? Will Sandra leave me for Brian Wahale who has a kisiagi or what? And then the second step is to return to the baseline. This examines the system's normal state before the issue, and it identifies the events leading up to the breach. So now, after he has asked himself and described what happened and what are the consequences, he'll want then to examine his normal relationship. Attacks from neighboring communities. Hey, my lord. Examine systems normal state before the issue. All right. So he wants to see before we had all these people coming into her DMs. How was our relationship? What was going on? Was it normal? How are we? Was she happy? How many flowers was I buying? Or I was not buying for her flowers. I was actually buying for her shopping. All right. And then identify the events that led up to the breach. So then Musembi will come to realize that, oh my gosh, I stopped buying shopping for Sandra. I stopped paying her rent. I stopped buying for her clothes, and I started buying flowers. And unfortunately, the flowers have a lifeline of around 2 days. So now the third step is to correlate with events. So analyze the sequence of events, determine how they are linked, and identify the most likely cause of this event. And this is called event correlation. All right. Finally, we visualize the sequence. So you create a diagram like this beautiful diagram with beautiful handwriting over here, or a graph to show the flow of the origin of the all the way to the final problem. And this helps stakeholders to understand the breach clearly. All right, are you guys with me? Very nice. Perfect. Very nice. So let me give you a short example about the root cause. So imagine this. Imagine that we have our e-commerce site, right? And let's say now we have a shop in Tao. We have a shop in town. Frank, town is Sheng for town for CBD. Is Sheng is a language, is an Acton language. All right. So let's imagine that we have a shop in Tao, and the people in charge of our shop are maybe Frank is the accountant, Fan is maybe the customer support, and we have a few salespeople like Befalin and New Testament and our Pope. Now, when maybe we get an issue that someone broke into our shop, and not even broke, someone just came, went into our shop, went into the counter, and then left with a bundle of cash, say 1,000, maybe 100,000 shillings, and left. Then we check the CCTVs. We see that these people don't work in our e-commerce, on our boutique. We ask the doorman. He doesn't know. We check CCTV. We see when the Pope and New Testament and maybe Basil or Befalin were working, they were busy on the shelves with other clients, and our customer support was busy on her phone, who is Fan. She was busy on Instagram, all right, or Snapchat taking photos. And we see a person entering into the store, notices that she's in her own world, and steals her card. Goes to the counter, uses the counter, swipes her card, opens the counter, and gets a bundle of money. And maybe our accountant was busy maybe in the law, so our money was stolen like that. So what will we do to find the root cause of our thievery that went on? What we'll do, number one, we'll check, were there incorrect permissions? Were there unauthorized users? Huh? And if there are unauthorized users and we have 6 employees, where were they? Looking at the CCTV, Miss Fan Misiani was on her phone on the Snapchat, taking photos, chatting with someone. So she was a vulnerability that these thieves took advantage of, stole her card, went, took money, and left immediately. So now, then, what can we do? Because now that's the root cause. Number one, from the outcome of the root cause analysis, we have a clear understanding of the breach origin. We can make informed decisions on corrective actions. For example, like removing Wi-Fi from the office so that Fan cannot go to Snapchat again, or banning phones and social media during work hours, strengthening security controls and reduce risk. in future events. So maybe have a biometrics on your counter, have alarm systems and all that. So let's quickly go ahead. And what is a risk assessment? So risk assessment is the entire process of identifying the threats, potential threats, threats to your assets, evaluating the likelihood of them occurring, and estimating the impact if they do. And this helps you prioritize security efforts by focusing more on what matters. Now, there are 5 major steps when it comes to risk assessment. Number one, you identify the threats. What could you identify the threats, like what could go wrong? What are the possible issues that can actually come and find us? Number two, identify vulnerabilities. What weaknesses exist in our systems and processes? For example, if you're using RFID cards, they can be stolen. So we can use um, our RFID cards can be stolen, they can stop working. So those can be vulnerabilities. They can be taken and then printed, like duplicated. So those are vulnerabilities. Determine the likelihood of a threat occurring. So how probable is it that a threat will occur? And then determine the impact of what could be the consequences if a threat really occurred. And then the risks, combine the likelihood of the impact to assess the overall level of risk. All right, so those are the 5 steps to risk assessment. Questions to ask. You can ask yourself, what are the most critical assets in our business process that need the most protection? For example, customer data, financial systems, core applications, the brand reputation. For example, if we look at, I don't know if you guys have realized this, but look at maybe Bitcoin or crypto. What do they call them? Kina Bitcoin wanaitwa nani? What are they called? These people for Bitcoin, this cryptocurrency. Yes, cryptocurrency. So imagine a cryptocurrency website or a cryptocurrency itself. Uh, it's selling its currency, people are trading, and all of a sudden, tomorrow people are waking up and the site is no longer there. Their money is gone, everything is gone. You see, their brand reputation will be destroyed instantly. People will call them cons. So there's a way that you can actually determine your risk formula. So the formula is you do risk equals to likelihood of a threat occurring times the impact. So you determine the likelihood. Is it probable to happen? Maybe out of 10, maybe we have a likelihood of around 7. And what's the impact if actually the threat happens, if the event happens? What's the impact? Number one, you can lose your data, you can lose your entire organization, you can lose your financial systems, your brand reputation will be broken, all right? So these are some of the things that we put into consideration. When it comes to risk response strategies, what can you do to respond to? Uh, what are some of the strategies you can take to respond to risks? So once you've completed creating a risk assessment, the next step is to choose how to respond to each identified risk. And there are 4 main stages with each with its own distinct approach, all right? Number one, we have risk avoidance. And most of the people are like this. They ignore the risk. They stop the activity that introduces the risk, discontinue. For example, if you're in your boutique and you have created an e-commerce site and you look at the probability of risk happening, and it's or maybe a 95%. So for risk avoidance, these people can say, hey, let's get rid of the e-commerce site. Let's just sell physically. All right. So that's a type of risk avoidance. Then we have risk trust. Yeah. Risk transference. Ay, my lord, I need a big mug of water. Risk transference. So, risk transference is you're shifting the responsibility of the risk to another person. For example, we can say that we are going to protect our boutique by maybe taking an insurance and say that we're going to insure all our clothes here, our stock, and all our applications, all our finances, everything, all our gadgets in our boutique. So we are transferring our risk from us to a third party, to an insurance company. And they are very happy to do that for you because they know they'll benefit somewhere. And then the third one is risk mitigation. So risk mitigation, you implement controls that reduce the likelihood of an impact of the risk. For example, you can have something like enabling multi-factor authentication, encrypting sensitive data, applying access controls. You can do maybe something like having CCTVs on your entire premise and alarm systems. Maybe you can use steel doors that cannot be broken easily into. We saw this during Maandamano. And then finally, we have risk acceptance. Acknowledge the risk and choose not to act, but monitor and prepare for the response. For example, accept a minor risk that can have low impact and are unlikely to occur. For example, like a scenario of someone just walking into your store and stealing your RFID card to go open your counter. It's a bit minimal. It cannot happen often unless people are from La Casa del Papel. Then maybe we can be scared of that. But you can just wait and see and act when it happens. So after you've gotten to these response strategies, you can choose the strategy based on either number one, the criticality of the asset. So, for example, like data is so critical. Number two, the likelihood and impact of the risk. And number three, business priorities. For example, a business, maybe its major priority is not data, it's the asset, right? They'll do more of protecting their assets than their stock than protecting the data. They'll use more money and more time to protect their stock than protecting the data because maybe they do not need the data. Right. Now, let's go to monitoring and logging. This is something that Patrick took us through, and let's see among the benefits that you can enjoy. So, monitoring and logging are essential tools for maintaining a secure, compliant, and a well-managed IT environment. They provide data foundation for effective security analysis and operational oversight. So among the benefits, we can have something like IT governance. So it enables structured oversight and accountability across systems and processes. There is regulatory compliance, which helps meet legal and industrial standards by tracking activity and access. For example, when it comes to e-commerce, we have the PCI DSS. That's a regulatory compliance. So when you're monitoring and logging, you're going to know whether you're meeting these legal and industrial standards. For example, now in Kenya, we have KEBS, right? Kenya Bureau of Standards. So KEBS is going to tell you whether your stock, whether your shop, whether your is compliant, all right? Then we have SLA performance. It verifies the service level agreement and performance and it ensures contractual compliance. So it will check whether you're compliant to your service level agreement. And then there's management oversight by providing visibility into systems behavior and use of actions for better decision making. Then there is change control, which then helps you support and track and validate systems changes and prevent unauthorized modifications. We said we have this for what AWS service do you use to check for change control, for to check whether your configurations have been changed? What AWS service do you use to check whether your configurations have been changed? People, yes, we use config. All right, we use config. Next, we have, very nice, we have information security. So strengthen corporate security posture by detecting anomalies and breaches. And finally, we have problem resolution, whereby it facilitates faster and more consistent identification and resolution of issues. So those are the advantages of monitoring and logging. And in monitoring and logging, let's do a bit of a reminder from what Patrick told us. So monitoring and logging are complementary tools that work together to track, record, and analyze systems activity. They form the backbone of an effective security analysis and IT governance. So let's see, what are logs? Logs are records of systems and events, activities, and changes. So logs are records of systems, events, activities, and changes. They help examine IT systems and processes. So logs, for those who do programming, right? How many times do you go to your console.log to check, hi, why am I getting this error? Why is it not showing on my screen? Yeah, console.log. All right, so they help examine IT systems and processes all the time, right? Logs can both be inputs to monitoring and they can be outputs from monitoring. That's maybe something like alerts, anomalies, something of the sort. So when it comes to logs, we can monitor changes. We can monitor changes in configurations, updates, access, and motivations. And then we can also, you see now logs, imagine log as like maybe data that is, okay. So imagine maybe this is data from how your infrastructure is or how your resource is, and you're getting a feedback of how it is and what's going on behind the scenes. Mhm. Very nice, until you get maybe a 500 and then you cry. All right. So now the logs are flowing into your, maybe wherever you are, if it's S3 or just wherever you want them to flow to. Now, when you're monitoring the logs, you can check for changes in configurations, updates, and access modifications. Another thing you can check is exceptions. Exceptions like errors, failed login attempts, unusual behavior, like what you do with console.log. And then another thing is you can monitor for significant events. So, for example, something like security alerts, systems restarts, policy violations. These are some of the things that you can monitor. um, let's go to metrics. So what are metrics? Metrics are quantifiable indicators that help assess the effectiveness of your security program. So the metrics, they are going to give you evidence-based insights to what is working, what needs improvement, and how well your security goals are being met. You can use metrics maybe for tracking performance of your security controls. You can use metrics to demonstrate value to stakeholders. You can use metrics to support compliance and governance. And you can even use metrics to guide decision making and resource allocation. DevOps engineers, what tools do you use for collecting metrics? Tell me, you people. Or even those who are software engineers and they do basically everything. What do you do? What tools do you use? What applications do you use? All right. Ridge uses Zap. Mosembi uses Prometheus. Very nice. Yes. And you have CloudWatch in AWS. Now, yes, Grafana. Very nice. It's Grafana for matrices or for logs. All right. So let's see the types of monitorings that we have. Number one, we can have location based. So we can track metrics by location. So either on site, so monitoring within physical company premises, remote, using many monitoring users, systems access controls, accessing resources, and even you can use remote like for people who are, I think also for a lot of DevOps engineers and even sysadmins, SREs, they do a lot of monitoring even remotely. So imagine it's on the weekend, it's on a Saturday evening, say at around 7 p.m., 8 p.m. You've sat down with your pizza and then you start getting notifications from your server. Yeah, and your server is down and you cannot rush to the office, it's closed. What do? You quickly SSH into your server and you monitor it remotely, right? So you monitor users and systems from outside the office. On site is on prem, remote is when you're like at home, you're monitoring when you're outside the office. Internal or external. So internal is within the organization, external is maybe like a third party person who has been called to monitor, and you have outsourced, so monitoring conducted by a third party provider. For example, like those who are in finance, they have like auditors, external auditors, internal auditors, outsourced auditors, something of the sort. And then we can monitor by resource. So by resources, for example, like systems. So these are operating systems, your applications, your services, and we have networks. So traffic flow, VPC flow logs, access points, firewalls, routers, checking all those. Another thing we can monitor is the databases. So data access, the queries taken, and integrity checks. We can have physical resource monitoring like entry points, surveillance, hardware access, and employees, user behavior, access patterns, compliance. For example, if an employee is supposed to maybe have their tags on and an employee doesn't have their tag on, you see, that's against the compliance, all right? Then we can monitor using change usage. So there is usage and consumptions. For example, like resource utilizations. For example, like if it's CPU, you're checking at the maybe you're monitoring what do we call it? what do we call them? Server utilizations, like maybe is your server of being overly used? Is it being underutilized? For the networks, bandwidth, is our bandwidth so slow? So bandwidth so high that we are not even using all of it. Storage, how many GBs of data are we storing in a day? How many are we removing after backups? Then you can have location. So geographical and logical locations of in the organization. And then you can have access restrictions. So enforcing permissions and access control. So these are types of the monitoring that you can have. Now, AWS monitoring services. Guys, don't be bored with my froggy voice. Just 10 more pages, I promise, then we'll be done. Kuna mtu alisema 5 minutes za kusoma, but Eloi. AWS monitoring services. So AWS offers a suite of monitoring and security services that can help you track resource performance, detect threats, and ensure compliance across your cloud and hybrid environments. For example, number one, the most common one for metrics and logs is Amazon CloudWatch. All right, CloudWatch. Guys, here's where I need you to take pen and paper, because this is definitely going to come to exam. This is where I need you to take your pens and papers. So number one, we have CloudWatch. CloudWatch, if you hear the word CloudWatch, think of this as someone who's always monitoring you. Think of this as a spy, right? Someone who's always looking at what you're doing and writing down. Someone who looks at what you're doing and writing down. Where you're going, writing it down, noting it down. All right? So CloudWatch, it monitors AWS and on-prem resources, and its key features is the metrics, the logs, dashboards, alarms, anomalies, and detections. So CloudWatch is a monitoring and observability service built for DevOps engineers, developers, SREs, IT managers, and product owners. It provides you with data and actionable sites to monitor your applications, respond to system-wide performance changes, and optimize resource utilization. Guys, the long and short of it, CloudWatch, this is like a spy, someone who looks at what you're doing, someone who looks at your house, someone who looks at your resources and notes everything down. Okay. The second service is Config What You Learned in the Morning. It tracks and evaluates resource configurations. So it's going to give you configuration history, compliance, auditing, and change tracking. All right. And then third one, we have Amazon Managed Service for Prometheus, and I got this on the exam for DevOps. So it's a compatible monitoring and alerting service that makes it easy to monitor containerized applications and infrastructure at scale. So it's very good that AWS actually brought its own managed service for Prometheus. It helps you monitor your containerized applications. And then next we have CardDuty, which it detects threats and malicious activities. Gideon, CloudWatch, it tracks everything. CloudWatch is like a spy. So imagine CloudWatch like a CCTV camera, all right? CloudWatch will sit down and look at everything going on and note everything going on, all right? And then you can go to CloudWatch dashboard and see what is happening. For example, what if you have a nanny camera in your house and your nanny doesn't know? So what you do, you let the camera take photos and videos throughout the day, and then when you go to home, you go to your CloudWatch dashboard and you can see everything that happened during the day. Now, CloudTrail, this is a service that will tell you this person did this thing. And I've said CloudTrail, it's for trailing you. It will tell you who did what, who changed what, who. All right. CloudWatch will give you like a CCTV of everything that was going on. It's like a CCTV, it's like a spy. It just sits and observes. All right. CloudTrail will tell you who did what. Config will tell you what was changed. Okay. And then you have a very interesting service. It's called Amazon Macy. I think you guys, you might find this in your exam. It's kind of common. So Amazon Macy, CloudTrail, it will give you like API calls, tell you what API calls were called, like who used these API calls to access these services. So Macy, it protects sensitive data using ML. Macy is it's a beautiful service, just like the name. It strengthens data privacy and helps meet regulatory requirements. Let's learn about monitoring as a service. So in the cloud, in AWS, monitoring as a service is a cloud-based approach for tracking and analyzing your system performance, security, and application behavior. It offers real-time visibility without the need to change physical infrastructure. An example of a service that we have on AWS is CloudWatch. So CloudWatch is AWS native monitoring as a service offering. It provides centralized monitoring for all AWS cloud resources, on-prem systems, and applications running in hybrid environments. All right. Kuna mtu anataka kumwaga mtama this afternoon. Reg is saying CloudTrail only monitors everything happen on AWS, right? Yes, on your API calls, on your service, on your resources. Let me see. All right, so right here, let me just give you a few pointers on the features of CloudWatch. So CloudWatch is a cloud-based infrastructure service. Okay, so you guys, you've not really understood the difference between CloudWatch and CloudTrail. You guys, when you look at CCTV cameras, right? CCTV videos, what do you see? You just see everything that was happening, okay? But it does not tell you this is a person who did this. It just shows you a video, right? It will tell you your CPU usage is high, your storage is almost full. It will tell you, think of it like just for monitoring, all right? It will tell you, for example, let me give an example so that you can understand. No, no, Rage. AWS CloudWatch is managed and provided for by AWS. You don't need to install anything else. Let me give you an example of Ridge's house. No, Chelsea's house. Chelsea, hi. So Chelsea, in the morning, she had she had arranged her house, organized everything, cleaned everything, and left the house clean, right? And then Ridge came and went to the kitchen and made himself some tea and eggs, left the utensils in the kitchen sink, went and showered and changed some clothes. I don't know if he had clothes in Chelsea's wardrobes, but anyway, to each his own. Now, So if it was CloudWatch, what could CloudWatch tell us? CloudWatch will imagine how CloudWatch is a CCTV. It will show us someone entering in the house, walking, going straight to the kitchen, and show someone cooking eggs and making tea, someone sitting down, someone did, and the CCTV camera is for the whole day and it's for everything, right? And it's going to tell you, you Chelsea, you had 30 eggs. Now your eggs have reduced to 25. Chelsea, you had 3 packets of milk. Now you only have 1 packet of milk. Chelsea, you had 5 liters of water. Now you have 1 liter of water. Chelsea, your house was clean. Now it's barely clean. It's messy, right? But remember, CloudWatch did not tell Chelsea who ate the eggs or what happened to the eggs, right? It's just telling Chelsea, see, Chelsea, your eggs have reduced by this percent. And actually, it has dashboards. You can like see dashboards. Amepasua mayai tano bwana, imagine. So, um, Chelsea wants to know who did this. So she'll go to CloudTrail and she's going to check API calls and see Ridge is the one who signed into her house with his API calls, right? And went and took 5 eggs and cooked them. Ridge is the one who took the eggs. Ridge is the one who cooked tea. Ridge is the one who drank the tea. Ridge is the one who went to shower in Chelsea's bathroom. Ridge is the one who went and changed his clothes on Chelsea's bedroom. Okay? Now, config will tell us eggs -5, they've been broken. The pots have been made dirty. Water has reduced. Oh, amazing. Ridge, tell us why. All right. So I hope you guys have gotten the difference between the three. So thank you. Thank you. Perfect. So now, CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a cloud-based infrastructure service, all right? And it is fully deployed on the cloud. So Ridge, you do not have to install anything. And then number 2, you can access your metrics and logs from any location in the world. Number 3, CloudWatch gives you CloudWatch logs. You can collect, store, and analyze the logs data. And then it does real-time monitoring. Uh, but 5 eggs, I rage 5 eggs, hapana. 5 eggs. Frank, imagine he ate 5 eggs. Tutakusema sasa kwa Nigeria, imagine. So we have real-time monitoring. So, real-time monitoring, it tracks performance, errors, and thresholds dynamically. So remember, there's logs and there's metrics. Logs, I told you that logs, it's like an explanation of what's going on onto your system. And your metrics is like you're told you have 5 kgs of sugar, you have 30 eggs, or rigid 5, you have 25 eggs, you have 1 liter of water, you have 1 kg of sugar. And as the kgs reduce, it's going to show you, hey, you guy, you're using too many things in a day. And it's also going to alert you if maybe you wanted to be alerted when your eggs are at maybe 9 so that you restock. You'll be sent for an alert being told, Bwana Mr. Ridge, refill Chelsea's eggs, tafadhali, kindly add more eggs, go to the chickens and beg them for eggs, right? So it can alert you. Oh, yeah, I finished monitoring as a service. So devices that can be monitored, you can have just many things. You can track your vehicle, you can monitor your tablet. For example, tablet and phones, those who have kids, You can track what they're doing on their phones and on their tablets, same as in the laptops and computers as well, right? You can track and monitor CCTVs, VPNs, printers, routers, switch, firewall, and access points. Let's learn a little bit about monitoring policy. Perfect, perfect. So let's learn something about monitoring policy in briefly. So a monitoring policy, these are policy document that defines the rules, the scope, and the responsibilities for observing systems, users, and activities within the organization. It ensures that monitoring is purposeful, compliant, and secure. For example, for those who buy nanny cameras, someone can buy a nanny camera to check whether the husband or the wife is bringing someone at home. Another person will have a nanny camera to check whether the nanny is beating up their child. Another person will have a nanny camera to see whether thieves are going to come to his or her own house. All right. So a monitoring policy. Thank you for this. Thank you. Thank you so much, Frank. I really appreciate. I really appreciate for that. All right. So a monitoring policy, it's going to give you, it defines the roles, the scope and responsibilities of why you're monitoring. So that monitoring can be purposeful, compliant and secure. So you need to ask yourself these questions like, what should you monitor? So the systems, the users, the data, the activities that you need to track, and how closely should you monitor the level of detail. For example, the people who prefer to track their systems 24/7, the people who prefer to track their systems once a day, all right? And for example, another thing, who does the monitoring? So assign an internal team or a third party provider to monitor for you. Do you need outsourcing for monitoring? If yes, maybe you can go for external monitoring or internal reviewer. And who watches the watchers? Who is the oversight of people who are monitoring? So the monitoring policy contains this. It's more of kind of an auditing why monitoring is important in your organization. And you can have retention policy for monitoring, and a retention policy will define how long different types of monitored data are stored before being archived or deleted. For example, an organization will say, when I monitor my EC2 instances, let the retention policy be in 7 days. All right. Then after 7 days, we can either archive or delete. All right. So a retention policy is how long are you storing your monitored data. Um, for example, key data types and retention considerations. Let's just quickly look at this. So for email, it can the typical retention purpose would be for audit trails, legal discovery, and internal investigations. For example, now that we are in an organization and we have organizational emails. Well, we can say, why should we retain these emails? Number one, legal discovery. So imagine that, I don't know, some people who have issues maybe with their HR need to document everything. So they ask for documentation through the email, or we'll send maybe an approval request on the emails, right? Then we have access logs. So it can be used for security analysis and incident response. We have camera and video footage for checking maybe physical security in the workplace and safety and legal evidence. For example, there's this person who went in a supermarket in a mall a few years ago. Maybe some of you are still in the news. And this person was on the mall and walking around and unfortunately slipped and broke his leg. He went to the police and took an OB number and then went to the hospital. And then took them all to court and said, this mall has broken my leg. So the judge asked for the footage and saw what was going on. And unfortunately, the guy who took the mall to the court was told to pay the mall for damages. Why? Because according to the camera footage, there was a sign for wet floor or cleaning going on. All right. And this guy did not see or know. So he disregarded, right? And because he took the because he took the mall to the court, he was to pay for damages. So camera footage is really important, especially for legal matters, workplace safety, and physical security. Another thing is customer information. Why? Maybe for support history, marketing. If we have our e-commerce site, we'd want to have our clients' data to market for them, either SMS marketing or email marketing. We can have sales records for financial reporting, compliance, shipping records, all this. I'm sure you people, you know all this. Right, let's go to this beautiful service called Messi. Messi looks like a girl. And the reason why I love this service, for those who are avid lovers of Game of Thrones, you might know a very beautiful girl called Missy Williams. So yes, she's the one who acted Arya Stark. So yeah, Messi looks like a beautiful girl's service. And what does Messi do? Messi is a fully managed data security and privacy service. It helps organizations to discover, classify, and protect sensitive data in AWS. So let me tell you how Messi just works in an overview so that I can not bore you with a lot of black and white. So imagine this, you have stored, maybe you've gone to you've gone to maybe to your database or to your S3, right? And you when you are storing your data, you unfortunately stored your debit card information there. So it has your card number, it has your CVV, it has your month of expiry, or it has your phone number, or you've also stored maybe your password for maybe, or even a private API key or something. So what Messi will do, it's going to check on your services, and then it's going to use machine learning and pattern recognition to identify sensitive data, for example, like your PII, personally identifiable information, financial records, credentials, and access keys. And what it's going to do, it's actually going to alert you that, oh yeah, Wemzai, you have stored your secrets in your S3 bucket or in your database table, right? So Messi is a very, very, very important, it's an important feature. So it continuously scans AWS data stores like your S3 bucket to detect unintended exposure, misconfigured permissions, and anomalous access patterns. Its advantages is that it's cost efficient. It reduces manual effort to manzee intern amesahau akapush kwa .env manzee na amepush password ya database, right? Especially for SQL where you need like your database credentials, or you're doing something with JavaScript and they push the .env on the GitHub or on your S3 bucket. It's going to tell you, all right? And it's going to actually help you be compliant, especially with HIPAA, PCI DSS, and GDPR. Who can tell me what is GDPR for? I know you've seen GDPR somewhere. Yes, it's for data protection, exactly. And it is mainly for European law. You see, you guys, when you're going to websites and you're asked, this website takes cookies. Do you accept? Then you say accept or I disagree. Exactly, exactly. Rage, even if you reject, they'll just override it and you'll accept by mistake. Who can tell me what HIPAA is for? Exactly, they did. Who can tell me what HIPAA is for? Health data protection, exactly. HIPAA is for health data protection. And HIPAA, guys, it's double A, HIPAA. And I've told you guys this many times. Yes, thank you, Daniel. What is PCI DSS for? PCI DSS. I've been seeing that policy over here. PCI DSS is for your credit and debit card information. It's for when you're having your website and you're taking bank details for people, rather financial data. PCI DSS is for protecting you. Right. All right. So let's quickly move on to logging. Right. What is logging? All right. A logging policy. So a logging policy defines what data should be logged, how it should be stored, and how it should be managed, and who has access to these logs. It ensures consistent and secure and compliant logging across enterprise systems, right? Now, what are some of the elements of logging policy? Number one, it says, what do you need to log? It identifies critical resources and activities to monitor. For example, like your CPU usage, your API calls, your configuration changes, access events, something like that. And then a logging policy also contains a log management, and this defines how logs are to be stored, rotated, and archived or deleted. So log management is going to say, kindly archive these logs for 3 months or 6 months and then delete them permanently. All right. Then we have retention rules. So these are the time frames between logs based on compliance and consider and operations. You might get, especially for sensitive information, they might say that they have a retention policy of around 5 months or 10 years or 5 years. Okay. And then you have access control. So who can view, modify, or delete the logs? And we also have infrastructure support. It ensures logging tools like CloudWatch logs config are integrated across environments. Finally, we have compliance alignment, where it matches the logging practices with regular requirements. For example, like it will check whether your logs are GDPR compliant, HIPAA compliant, and PCI DSS compliant. All right. All right. So protecting your log information, you can do maybe key practices when you're protecting your logs. Number one, you can choose the storage location. Keep the logs on the original device or a centralized log server. For example, you can store your logs, say, for example, in an S3 bucket, and then have access control. So restrict the people who have physical access or logical access to your logs. You can back up your logs and also have a recovery process. So regularly back up your logs and test recovery procedures. And then we have a retention policy to define when and how long should you retain this data. And then it's good to check timestamps. Why? To synchronize clocks across all log servers to ensure that your data and logs are consistent. Right? Yes. So let's go ahead to logging services. And these ones we've mentioned a few. We have AWS CloudTrail. It monitors and records accounts or account activity across your infrastructure and gives you a control over storage, analysis, and remediation actions. In short, it tracks user activity and API usage. What it logs: CloudTrail logs all API calls, user actions, account activity on AWS. So the CloudTrail is going to give you logs on the API calls taken, the user action, what this person did, and where they went, what they were doing, something of the sort. And then we have config. So we said that config, it checks and evaluates your resource configurations. So it's going to log your configuration changes, compliance status, and resource relationships. Finally, we have a new service over here, and it's called VPC Flow Logs. So if you're going to proceed to Solutions Architect, you're going to need to know about VPC Flow Logs in depth. And VPC Flow Logs, excuse me, and VPC Flow Logs, they capture the IP traffic of your VPC. And the log, VPC Flow Logs, it logs your network interface traffic, your IPs, your source and destination IPs, your ports and protocols. So you remember, you guys, you created a VPC. Do you remember? If you remember, give me a thumbs up. If you remember, give me a thumbs up. Right? Belinda is, yes, Belinda and Justin. Very nice. We created our VPCs. So when we created our VPCs, do you remember we had to maybe enable certain ports, have our IPs and all that, okay? Now, VPC flow logs, it checks on who entered into your network, at what time, they used what IP, they used which port to access your network, they did what on your VPC. VPC flow logs give you a log of your network, okay? That's the function of VPC flow logs. Kindly would I get a humble person to read for me? I will appreciate. Read for me the key takeaways and then I tell you what we're going to do for the next 20 minutes. Naboth, are you available?
Yes, I'm available, but my internet is coming and going. So, can you hear me properly?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. So the key takeaways. The goal of security analysis is to strengthen security controls to better protect your network, facilities, and organization. Testing, monitoring, and logging are key activities that support security analysis. Thirdly, a monitoring policy defines all the details of what, who, when, and how monitoring is to be performed. And fourthly, a logging policy identifies what should be logged and how to manage logs.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Right, so I hope you guys have understood. I hope it was easy for you guys. At least you've seen it's not hard. Security is not hard. Now there's a lab that you guys are supposed to do. I will let you guys do it by yourself. And the cases for the day as well. You have, I think, 3 for today. Now, I want to ask you guys a few questions because it seems you guys will love challenges. You'd rather I question you than I ask you about your cases. But hi Suru, it's okay. Now I need you guys to unmute. We do this faster. Are you guys ready? Let me know. Are you guys ready? All right, Gideon, you ready?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. Very nice. Question 1. AWS allows users to manage their resources using a web-based interface. What's the name of the interface? D. Are you sure, Habakkuk? Are you sure? You're sure? How about the rest? The rest are not talking to me. All right, Habakkuk, let's see if you're sure. 100%. Very nice. Let me clap for you. Very nice. All right. Which of the following is an example of horizontal scaling in AWS Cloud? Which of the following is an example of horizontal scaling in the cloud? A. Is it replacing EC2 instances with a larger and a more powerful one? Do you remember this is what we did? We moved from using a T3 micro to a T2 small, I think, something of the sort. Number B, increase the compute capacity of a single EC2 instance to address the growing demand of an application.
D.
C,
Adding C2.
right? Which one? D. All right. Are you guys sure? Let me check. Hey, you guys, Makofi. Hearty claps. Very hearty claps for y'all. I am happy. I am a happy teacher today. Hey, today I will eat my dinner early. Now, you have noticed that several critical EC2 instances have been terminated. All right. Which of the following AWS service will help you determine who took this action? Do you now guys see why I've been repeating myself here like a mad woman? Very nice. Very nice. Correct. Makofi. Hearty claps. Perfect. So you've seen how, guys, the questions will come. All right. Exactly. This is exactly how the exam will be. Now, which of the below options are related to reliability in AWS? Choose two. Applying the principle of least privilege, automatically provisioning new resources to meet demand. All AWS services are considered global. Oh, Justin, C and B. All right. Providing compensation, ability to recover. All right. Justin, are you sure?
For me, I feel it's B and E.
You're 50-50. All right. Mark, you're feeling it?
For me, I feel it's B and E.
All right. So B from you and Justin. And the other one, everyone else, we are 38 in this call.
For me, it's E.
All right. Musembi sijakusikia. B and E. All right.
Yeah, B and C.
Musembi, you're for B and C.
B and E.
B and E.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
with Mark.
You're with Mark, all right. And Belinda and Fan. Okay. Ladies, my ladies, Patrick have been represented. I am happy. Let's see. Are you people right? Yes, you are right. So reliability, it's always ensuring that you're on, like your clients will always find you. Even if your servers are down, you know that you'll recover quickly from failures. Even if the demand is so high, you have auto scaling that will automatically provision for you new resources. So your clients won't cosa you, they won't miss you when they come to you. That is what reliability is about. Reliability is like Musembi telling Sandra, I'll always be here for you. Whether you need spaghetti or unga wa sima or flowers, I will always be here for you. Even if when Musembi is sick in the hospital, he will take a call and call Sandra. Haya, that is reliability. Very nice. Ah, makofi. You people, you're laughing. And you'll be remembering the way I'm telling you here. Which statements are true? Which statements are true regarding AWS shared responsibility model? Remember, guys, I told you responsibility models you can't escape. Exactly. Imagine, Daniel. Imagine, even after you decide not to use up oxygen anymore, you must provide, you must be there for your lady. All right. So, which statements regarding AWS shared responsibility models are true? Is true. It's one, actually just one. So, responsibility varies depending on the services used. Security of infrastructure service is the responsibility of AWS. Patching the guest OS is always AWS responsibility. Security of the managed service is the responsibility of the customer. Answer.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Me naona yeah,
Uko sure? Huh?
responsibility for yeah. B.
B. Another person is saying B. Hi, guys.
D.
Oh, D.
Dog.
All right. Mark, okay. Any other person? Ladies, what's your answer? Belinda, you said A. Clinton A, Habakkuk A, Alphas A, Felix A, Fan A. All right. Let's see if what were A, they are right. Exactly. Now, Mark, remember even in the morning I said, even yesterday when you were doing the lab, I said, anytime that you see a managed service, know that that is the work of AWS. Okay? A managed service is the work and responsibility of AWS. It means AWS is managing it for you. Okay, Mark? Unmute and tell me kama umeelewa.
Yes.
Sawa sawa. Makofi to all of you. Hearty claps. You have set up a consolidated billing for several AWS accounts. One of the accounts you have purchased has a number of reserved instances for 3 years. This one, you're going to learn it when? I think next week. Let me just skip number 6 because you've not learned billing. So, see our Landly e-commerce web application. Guys, we have a star. Our e-commerce web application, we have one in AWS. What should we do to ensure that the application has the highest level of availability? I have told you this one. What do we do to ensure our e-commerce web application has the highest level of availability? My people, I have said again and again. Belinda, are you sure? Frank, are you sure? Clinton, all right. Even you. All right. Are you sure? Belinda, are you sure? Yes, the answer is you deploy on multiple regions and multiple availability zones. Remember we said if you deploy, the reason why it's actually called availability zone is to ensure that, I told you, anytime you see high availability, think of multi-AZs, multiple availability zones. If your application is hosted on multiple availability zones, if one availability zone collapses, you're secured by the other availability zone. All right? Same as the regions. If one region is affected, for example, like the case we had for US East 1, if Belinda had hosted our e-commerce on also EU West 1, we will not have been affected, all right? So you deploy on multiple regions and multiple availability zones to ensure the highest availability. Claps for you, my people. All right, Snowball, we are going to learn it next week. I'm going to skip it. Support plans. AWS has AWS Enterprise Support Plan. A company has Enterprise Support Plan. They want efficient guidelines on billing. This one, we're going to skip it. It's also for the billing. It's for finance. Very nice. A very good question. Belinda, do not answer. I'm seeing for you. A Japanese company hosts the application on Amazon EC2 instances in Tokyo region. All right. The company has opened new branches in the US. All right. And the US users Belinda, say the truth. So, and the US users are complaining of high latency. What can the company do to reduce the latency for the users in the US while minimizing cost? So this question is telling you, Landly Africa, we are in Japan, all right? And we have, my lord, Leonard, all right, let me see. This company has EC2 instances in their Tokyo region. Then they went and opened offices in US, and their users in US are complaining of high latency. What can they do to minimize the latency? All right, you people saying D, are you sure? Belinda na hajajibu. Oh, good girl. All right, D. Belinda, now you can answer. You're free. Deploying new Amazon EC2 instances in a region located near the US. Exactly. Why? If your region is too far, so imagine this. We are going to maybe say we are using a region in, we are using maybe a good example is one that I give you. We have hosted our EC2 instances in South Africa. All right. Now, the people who are in Ghana, imagine now Frank wants to access our e-commerce site and he's from Ghana. He's going to get a lot more latency. So what you can do, you create an EC2 instance near Ghana, the closest to Ghana. Hearty claps.
Do you have
All
a
right.
question?
All right.
So let's say, can you like scroll up?
Yes, I can.
Good, thank you. So like for example, now they're saying
Mhm.
host the application on Amazon EC2 instances. That means they're using the Amazon AWS instance in the EC2. So don't you think choice C technically can be correct?
But imagine the cost of building a whole data center, managing the data center, right? Yes, it's going to be too expensive. You see
I'm
here,
just pointing.
all right, but here they're saying while minimizing the cost.
Oh, okay. You must only need trick, but yeah, thank you.
Tricky sana. Kwanza for those who will do solutions architect, where you will cry and cry a little in that exam room. Now, an organization has a large number of technical employees who operate on their AWS cloud infrastructure. What does AWS provide to help organize them into teams and then assign them into appropriate permissions for each team? If you failed this one, and I am the one who taught you, you're going to buy for me energy drink and glucose ilamba. So, hi Clinton, are you sure? Hmm? Are you sure? Guys, this organization has many technical teams. And they want to give these teams to assign them roles at a go. Hey. Are you people sure? Let me choose people for answer A and for answer C. They tell us why. Musembi, why A? Or Gideon, why A? And Habakkuk, you're going to tell us why C. Musembi, why A?
I take back my answer.
Why?
I take my answer because I think it's C because of user groups. You give them roles and then give them permissions.
All right. Yes. So the answer is C. Very nice. So the answer is C. Why? You have many technical people, all right, and they work in your organization, your technical employees, and they work in your cloud infrastructure. So they're working inside there. Remember, guys, yesterday I told you here we are around 46 of us, right? Now, what we can do, if I have all of you and I want to assign new roles and permissions, instead of doing it like per person, what I can do, I can divide you into groups. I can divide you into Kenai 53 and Kenai 54. All right. And give Kenai 53, assign all of them appropriate permissions at a go, same as Kenai 54. Now, let me guys ask you a question. An organization has a large number of freelance employees who are working on something for a short duration, right? or maybe this organization has around maybe five freelancers working on their web application, and they'll be done by November 30th. You want to assign them appropriate permissions. What do? 5 freelancers, their work will be done by 30th November. Exactly. Ai, makofi kwa Gideon. Yes, you're going to give them a role. Why? They're temporary roles. They'll be done with their work by 30th, all right? Yes, very good. Guys, I told you this one. A company has decided to move from Oracle database to AWS. Which AWS service can help achieve this without negatively impacting functionality of the source database? I told you this one today. Very nice, Leonard. Aish. Very nice. Yes, we're going to use database migration service, a DMS, all right? So this DMS is going to move their data from Oracle to AWS. Remember we said it was doing continuous replication. Do you remember? And we said an example is using database migration service. All right. Have you guys understood? If you have, thumbs up. If you haven't, ask a question. Very nice. So adjusting compute capacity dynamically to reduce cost is an implementation of which AWS cloud best practice? Adjusting the compute capacity dynamically to reduce cost is an implementation. People, I don't even have to repeat the question. Mark-Coffee. Very nice. Congratulations. Yes, elasticity. So remember the example that I gave you. You have an e-commerce site. December, you know that traffic is going to be crazy. So you adjust capacity to reduce lagging. And then in January, people don't shop. So you reduce the capacity of your EC2 instance. February, during the love season of 14th, you increase the capacity again because people are going to be buying for each other clothes and roses and all this hula baloo that people do. Dust. Vumbi kijana inakungoja. So, what are the advantages? What are the benefits of having your infrastructure hosted in AWS? Give two. What are the benefits of having infrastructure hosted in the AWS? And here I will remember Frank. Yes, and I told you when you see speed and agility, you remember what? Let me see if you guys are right. Very nice, McCoffee. When you see speed and agility, remember 1 minute man. Remember, it's super fast. It's like Flash. Hi. Musimbe amejitaja. Very nice, Frank. Hi. All the physical security of most data and network security are taken care for you. Good people. Good memories over here. Yeah. Very nice. All right. Next question. What is the advantage of AWS recommended practice of decoupling applications? Do you guys know this one? Let me see. Musembi and Sandra are coupled. You must pass. If Musembi and Sandra are coupled, Origin, Chelsea are coupled in one house. And AWS has recommended we decouple them. What does this mean? Sijawapea certificate. Mimi ni example tu ninasoma hapa. We want to decouple Musembi and Sandra. Yes, you guys. Yes. We want to reduce interdependencies, all right? Decoupling means you're breaking it down, okay? For example, right here, all of us here, we are like 46 of us. We decoupled you guys to 2 groups and further decoupled you guys to groups of 5 or 6. Why? So that we reduce interdependence and reduce failures in case there's reduce the impact of failure. All right. So you guys, you realize that some of you work better in groups. It's the same way. So AWS recommends decoupling so that you reduce interdependency. If one thing is attacked, if one thing fails down, the rest of the system is not broken down. All right. Makofi, very nice. I've forgotten to. Let me give you your answer here. We go ahead. This one you're going to learn. But guys, will you guess number 16? Which one of the following helps the customer to view their EC2 billing? Guess. Wild guess. Wild guess. D. The cost and usage. Belinda anasema mi sitaki ukijibu maswali. I have known you from somewhere. I do not want you to answer my questions. Stay away from my questions now. Yes, the cost and usage report is going to show you how much you've used up and how much is your cost. All right. This billing. I mentioned this one. What should you do in order to keep your data in the EBS volumes safe? This is in the disaster and recovery. So what do you do to keep your EBS volumes safe? Choose two. Ni sawa fan. Mimi si rafiki yako by the way. Mimi hata sikujui. Sawa tu. What do you do to keep your data safe in the EBS? I mentioned this when we were learning about recovery. I mentioned this. All right, B and I need to Habakkuk. Belinda staki. Belinda, I do not want you here. Wakishindwa kabisa ndio itabidi ujibu. All right. So we have one. What's the second answer? Guys, guess. Answers are for Githeri. Regularly update firmware on EBS devices. Create EBS snapshots. Ensure the EBS is encrypted at rest. Store a backup daily in an external drive. Prevent unauthorized access to AWS centers. Who is that who has said hii ni mchape kwanza? Who has said Mark? Mark, AWS data centers are not your work at all. In fact, you should never be worried about access in AWS centers. They are not your work whatsoever. Hey, my lord. Aki, how many times will I be repeating myself?
Yes, sorry for that. Sorry.
Hey, Mark, you want to give me high blood pressure. Hey, virtual ngotos. All right. So we've removed A. Let's try elimination. We remove A, all right? Then store backup daily in an external drive. Why? Whereas EBS itself is a drive. We said for EBS, we create snapshots. Do you guys remember? Now, most of you guys are saying B's and C's. Let's see. Very nice. Remember when I told you, when you're during encryption, we said ensure that you encrypt your data both at rest and in transit. And at rest, you're encrypting your data in the storage devices. And I mentioned we have S3, we have EFS, and we have EBS, and we have the databases. All right? Mark, tafadhali usishtue mwalimu wako afaint. Imagine. On my
Sorry,
birthday.
nimepata kusoma nini the answer yote.
It's okay.
Pole.
Aya, hivyo mimi sitaki uanguke. Umeona? Exam inakuja hivi hivi. Kwa hivyo read carefully, all right? Ikifika 4:15 guys, we leave. One of the most important AWS best practices is to follow in the cloud is is the cloud architecture principle of elasticity. How does this principle improve your architecture's design? So we have elasticity. Why is elasticity important? Habakkuk, are you sure? You're sure, all right. Anyone else? Belinda, kindly stay away from my answers. D again. D. Very nice. Yes. All right. You automatically provision people. On-prem, leave on-prem alone. Leave AWS alone. That is not your work whatsoever. All right. Your work is in the cloud. So you want to automatically provision your AWS resources based on changes in demand. And this is something that you're going to see a lot of times, even in new solutions architect. All right. A startup company is operating on limited funds. No, this is billing. This is, did you guys read? Yes, you learned CloudFront, right? What does Amazon CloudFront use to distribute content to global users with low latency? No, you've not learned this. This one is for next week. Anyone with a wild guess who is not billing? No, let's do 22. What does the principle of least privilege refer to? What does the principle of least privilege refer to? Do you guys see your KC's questions here? Answers. What does the principle of least privilege refer to? All right, answers are streaming in fast and thick. Very nice. A. You should grant your users only the permissions they need when they need them and nothing more. Let's see. Justin. Hey. All right, Mimi, I have a certificate in theology. Very nice. Very nice people. Congratulations. Yes, you only grant your users only the permissions they need and nothing more. All right. I'm happy you guys got that. This one's you learned. Which of the following does not belong to the AWS cloud computing models? Tutakuchekelea tu, usiogope kuchekwa. We will laugh at you. Oh, unashindwa wameshindwa wamecheka nini? See, we've mentioned Belinda a few times. D. So which one does not belong to, which one is not a model in cloud computing? Networking as a service. Yes, perfect. Belinda wapigie makofi. Now this one will be your work. And Belinda, in the exams, if you don't get 1,000, me, I don't know what to do with you. This one's for next week. This one's for next week. Do you guys know this one? What's the function of DNS in the cloud? No, this one you're going to learn it a while later. Really? Rich? You know the answer in Mark? Amazing. Yes. It's actually Route 53. So we have an AWS service called Route 53, and it's the one that provides us with DNS services in the cloud. And perfect. What's an example of software as a service in AWS? So there are very many. For example, I'd give you one. It's called Amazon Q. So Amazon Q is like Copilot. You just attach it to your GitHub. No, not to your GitHub, to your VS Code, and it reads your code and corrects it for you. You don't need to tinker with anything on Amazon Q. We also have a few. We have several. I have several AWS, even Alexa. See you people use Alexa. Alexa, switch on music. Alexa, throw my boyfriend away. Alexa, turn me on the other side. Alexa, all those things. All right, hundreds of DDoS attacks are recorded every month worldwide. What service in the AWS provide protection to customers from these attacks? Choose two. All right, Gideon, another one. Habakkuk, are you sure? Let's do elimination. What is config for? Answers Githeri and mute or type Poker Chat. What is config for? Guys, what is config for? We are doing elimination. Hey, people will not talk to me. But yes, Habakkuk, you're right. Yes, we have shield and WAF. WAF is like a firewall. Monitor resource configurations. Yes, Daniel. Yes. So WAF and shield, they are the two resources in AWS that protect against DDoS attacks. Oh, guys, so it's past our I almost said past our bedtime. It's
Kidogo Joy,
all right.
just before we finish the class, could you please pardon question 26? The one for the DOS.
All right. Yes. So, all right. If you do elimination, so there are two services. There are two services in AWS that help us protect us from DDoS attack. There's Shield and there's WAF. All right. But WAF, it's like a firewall. What do they call WAF? Let me see the whole name. Is it wireless access? Let me see its whole name. Its whole name is, yes, it's web application firewall. All right. And the web application firewall, remember there's this day that we were in class and I told you, thank you, Patrick. I told you that we have a service that's called WAF that protects us from things like cross-site scripting, filtering packages. So it's a firewall, all right? And if it's a firewall, it's going to block any unwanted traffic, all right? So a DDoS attack, this person wants to infiltrate your services, wants to infiltrate your traffic, wants to infiltrate your network so that it renders it unusable. All right. So if we did, maybe if you were doing eliminations, config, we said it gives you configurations of your services. Amazon Cognito, you're going to look at it, I think, next week. I won't touch on it. We have KMS. KMS, I told you, it's for encryption. Remember? So the only answers that we're remaining with are Shield and WAF. All right? Are you good? Thank you, Musembi,
Yes.
Patrick, and
Thank
yeah.
you.
All right. All right. So, guys, without further ado, it's past our time with 5 minutes. I'm sorry I passed our time. I respect your time so much. So tomorrow morning we are going to meet again. Musembi, surely. Surely. So let's meet kindly. Hata Belinda amekuonea 18. So guys, let's meet tomorrow at 8:45 sharp. I hope you enjoyed. Nisikule ndizi kesho. Shida nililetewa whole bunch. Sasa zitaenda wapi? Eh? You'll have to pardon my grey hair and my heavy tongue. Anyway, guys, see you tomorrow at 8:45. Hata Naboth surely. Mimi nafikiria wewe ndio utanitetea. Hata unasema nisikule ndizi asubuhi. Sawa tu. So let's meet tomorrow at 8:45 for our morning check-in. Tomorrow we're going to have a busy day and it's going to be our very, very last day to learn AWS in security services. Share those bananas with the neighbor. No, they're mine alone. So tomorrow we're going to finish up on security. You are going to have fun. You are not my neighbor, unfortunately. You are not my neighbor. I heard Justin saying that he could be my neighbor. I'm not so sure. I can send him so that he can shame on my behalf. So where are you, Justin? Salem needs those bananas. Salem doesn't talk. He's okay. And guys, kijana apate energy kabisa kabisa. Naweza kuja LD. Purity, nitoe madizi huko alafu nirudishe huko. Hata watu wa parcels wataniona mfani sana. Niletee plantains. Siwezi kataa na both. Siwezi kataa. I love plantains. They're among my favorite snacks. All right. So let's meet tomorrow. Let's finish up on really Habakkuk. I am a typical African lady, Justin, as old as I can be. Yes, they are snacks to me. I deep fry them the way you people eat chips na uko nje. Right? So let's meet tomorrow. Have a good night. Fine.